Hello and welcome to the February 1st, 2026 episode of Nick's News. I am your host Nick, brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, we're putting money into this project of ours. We're live every Sunday and I thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replay on the Nick's News YouTube channel. This is a program dedicated to bringing good news to counter all of the bad news that we are bombarded with on a daily basis, with the hope of bringing a little bit of joy back to the world. Several of our articles are pulled from sites like Industry Tap, Live Science, Positive.news, and GoodGoodGood.co, but we appreciate everything sent in by you, the Nick's Newsies. Hello, Christian. Hello, everybody. Very happy to have everyone with us today. Oh, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time to rev your engines for a February to remember. Barrel-aged Speedway Stout Monster Parks Chocolate Espresso Edition is the right kind of beer to get this race started. This is a 13.62% ABV, high-octane Imperial Stout from AleSmith Brewing Company and Modern Times Beer. It's aged in bourbon barrels with Dominican cocoa nibs and espresso. For this entire month, the entire month of February, we are going to be on a speedway track. AleSmith Brewing Company comes out with a special stout called Speedway Stout, and I picked up a variety pack, and so we're going to work through that variety pack this entire month, but we're going to start off with the big boy, so check out our Instagram on Thursdays to see what those news brews are going to be, and see if you can find that variety pack too, so you can drink with me. It's all about staying in the race with this one. Because it's a big stout, we are going to, of course, drink that in our limited edition Harpoon Snifter. Don't need the Battle Song bottle opener, so we'll just blow the gain on the audio. And get into the theatrics of a 5-minute pour. And it is motor oil. That is used motor oil. Really dark head on it. Good to the last drop. There we go. Whoa! They weren't kidding when they said espresso. Holy crap. That is just pure darkness. Alright. Shoutouts. Grand Rapids' first and only Cat Cafe is right in the heart of Grand Rapids, Michigan. The Happy Cat Cafe is a cozy little spot for cat lovers, coffee drinkers, and anyone who just needs a break from the chaos. They've got colorful lattes, refreshing lotus drinks, and a laid-back vibe that pairs perfectly with a lap full of purring fluff. Partnered with Fig and Friends Animal Rescue, Happy Cat Cafe gives adoptable cats a comfy space to hang out, meet new people, and find their forever homes. They also have fun events like Tarot with Cats on February 13th, Cats and Canvas coming up on February 14th, Crochet and Play on February 21st, and more. You can check out their website to get tickets to an event or check the schedule out in general. It's all about community, creativity, and of course, cats. Links are in the description for our video. To Happy Cat Cafe. Cheers. Oh my God. Oh, that chocolate. It's such luxurious chocolate and espresso. That tastes like a chocolate espresso I had in Boston the last time I was in Boston downtown. Wow. That is delicious. And boozy. I can tell that's 13.62%. Uh-oh. All right. News quote. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members, a heart of grace, and a soul generated by love. That comes from Coretta Scott King, who was born in 1927 and passed away in 2006, who was an American author, an activist, and a civil rights leader who advocated African American equality alongside her husband, Martin Luther King Jr. And I really love that quote because it speaks volumes for what's going on right now in the world, especially here in the United States, regarding our communities that are rising up and coming together and doing what communities do best, showing love and compassion for one another. So, the greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members, a heart of grace, and a soul generated by love. Thank you for that, Coretta Scott King. Cheers. Producer Donna asked, do the espresso beers keep the caffeine? Not really. I joke around that like certain beers, like coffee beers especially, you could, wake up to, or that could be your morning coffee, but it's mainly just for the flavor of it. I don't think they hold us the caffeine, but if somebody wants to fact check me on that, I'm perfectly fine with figuring that out. While that potentially happens, let's move on to the bug update. All of the bugs are doing well, and I'm really happy about that. Ripley has been bulking up ever since they upgraded in size. Their appetite matches, so she's been eating well. Her little friend, Phil, the Phidippus audax jumping spider, or bold jumping spider, is also doing well and caught himself a mealworm that had been hiding out in the cork bark that is in Ripley's home. So that was really cool. If you are not an arachnophobe, check out our Instagram on Tuesday when there will be some pictures of Phil up that I managed to catch. Little John settled into his home very well, and he alternates between the two hides I set up, which is nice. It gives me a chance to actually look in and see him. The Cuddle Puddle, our roaches, have been singing all night long. And Big Boy Sue finally came back out of his burrow. He's been down there for the last couple days, and I have not seen him. He didn't molt. He looks about the same size. That's not a bad thing, though. And it's just good to see that my boy is out and about. And I should have some pictures of him up on the Instagram at some point, too. Christian says, if they did, I'd be curious if they list the caffeine content on the can. Well, that's a great question. Let me see if they do. This indulgent mashup fuses the bold, barrel-aged intensity of our Speedway Stout with modern times' Monsters Park, then enhances it with espresso and Dominican cocoa nibs. The result is a rich, boozy stout that captures the essence of a chocolate-covered espresso bean, roasty, chocolatey, and layered with smooth coffee flavor. It does not list a caffeine amount anywhere, so I'm going to imagine it's a negligible amount of caffeine. That would be really cool, though, if it did have a caffeine amount. I think I'd be fine with that. Producer Donna did point out, beer is not required to list its nutritional information. That is something that is good to note. All right. Let's get into our good news. Our broadcast is broken up into 4 major categories, and those categories are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice stuff that we like to end. That we like to end on. Producer Donna says, according to the internet, it has about 1/4 the caffeine as a can of soda. Okay, so not much at all. Thank you, Producer Donna. All right, we're going to start off in Category 1, Science and Technology. We got 2 articles in here, and we called the first one, Seeing is Believing. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read it. It's your leisure. And just a reminder, the links for all the articles that we read are down in the description if you want to check them out at some point. EVs promised cleaner air. Satellites say it's finally happening. This was published to Electric on January 26th of 2026 by Michelle Lewis. EVs are supposed to clean up the air, but finding real-world proof has been surprisingly hard. A new study from the University of Southern California, or USC, says the satellite evidence is finally strong enough to measure. Researchers at the Keck School of Medicine of USC found that as more zero emission vehicles, or ZEVs, hit California roads, air pollution dropped in nearby neighborhoods. Using high resolution satellite data, the team linked EV adoption to the first statistically significant real world drop in nitrogen dioxide, or NO2, which is a harmful traffic related pollutant. The headline number is modest but measurable. For every 200 ZEVs added in a neighborhood, NO2 levels fell by about 1.1% between 2019 and 2023. The study, just published in The Lancet Planetary Health and partly funded by the National Institutes of Health, adds a rare real-world evidence to claims that are often taken for granted, that EVs just don't cut carbon over time. They also improve local air quality right now. EVs are usually framed as long-term climate solutions, but cleaner local air is where many of the immediate public health benefits should show up. NO2 is produced by burning fossil fuels and is linked to asthma attacks, bronchitis, and higher risks of heart disease and stroke. Proving those benefits has been tricky. Ground-level air monitors are limited and unevenly distributed. A 2023 USC study suggested a connection between EV adoption and lower pollution, but the results weren't definitive. This study took a different approach, using satellite measurements that can track NO2 across the entire state daily. This immediate impact on air pollution is really important because it also has an immediate impact on health, said senior author Erica Garcia, PhD, MPH, assistant professor at USC's Keck School of Medicine. The team divided California into 1,692 neighborhood-sized areas, roughly comparable to zip codes. They paired DMV data on ZEV registrations with readings from the European Space Agency's Trapani satellite instrument, which detects NO2 by measuring how the gas absorbs and reflects sunlight. The study included ZEVs such as battery electric cars, plug-in hybrids, and fuel cell vehicles. Heavy-duty trucks and semis were excluded. Between 2019 and 2023, the typical neighborhood added about 272 ZEVs, while with most adding between 18 and 839. As ZEV numbers increased, NO2 levels consistently declined. We're not even fully there in terms of electrifying, but our research shows that California's transition to electric vehicles is already making measurable differences in the air we breathe, said lead author Sandra Eckel, PhD, and associate professor at the Keck School of Medicine. The researchers ran multiple checks to make sure the trend wasn't driven by unrelated factors. They accounted for pandemic-era changes by excluding 2020 in some analyses and controlling for gas prices and work-from-home patterns. They also saw the expected counterexample. Neighborhoods that added more gas-powered vehicles experienced increases in pollution. The findings were then replicated using updated ground-level air monitoring data back to 2012. In short, the signal held up. Over the study period, zero-emission vehicles grew from 2% to 5% of all light-duty vehicles in California, indicating significant potential for future improved air quality with ZEVs. Seeing how the California Energy Commission, the CEC, reported last week that the state passed 2.5 million cumulative new zero-emission vehicles, or ZEV sales, in 2025, the state is very much on the right track. Next, the researchers plan to compare EV adoption with asthma-related emergency room visits and hospitalizations. If those trends line up, it could provide some of the clearest evidence yet of what we already know, that electrifying transportation doesn't just clean the air on paper, it improves public health in practice. That is really cool. To everybody at the University of Southern California examining satellite data to tell that nitrogen dioxide emissions have decreased since the increase in ZEVs has occurred. Cheers. Hey, Tim. Our second article in Science and Technology is a sports ball article. And what a fitting time, what with the Super Bowl coming up on November 8th. Or February 8th. Why did I think November? So, this will be a sports ball article. I'll copy and paste it in the chat if you want to check it out. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Hold up. Wait a minute. I accidentally put a dash on the back of it. There we go. The Super Bowl will test new device for blind fans who want to enjoy the big game. This was published to Gizmodo on January 31st of 2026 by Bruce Gill. For years, blind and low-vision sports fans have been limited to audio play-by-play commentary to follow their favorite teams. But that isn't always ideal. Audio feeds can lag behind the action, miss key moments, leaving fans to repeatedly ask friends or family for clarification on what's going on the field or the court. Now, the NFL is partnering with a Seattle-based startup called OneCourt to give some attendees at this year's Super Bowl a new way to follow the game, the Associated Press reports. OneCourt makes a device that provides real-time, tactile feedback for major sporting events. It's roughly the size of an iPad, although it's a bit thicker, with raised lines on its surface that map out the field. The device allows users to track the position of the ball, while different vibrations signal specific plays. It also comes with headphones, so users can follow along with their team's radio broadcast with little to no delay. OneCourt was founded in 2021 by a group of students at the University of Washington. Its CEO, Jared Mace, got the idea during his junior year after stumbling across a video of a blind man attending a soccer match. In the clip, the man sits next to a woman who moves his hands across a tactile game board. The NFL, OneCourt, and Ticketmaster worked together during the most recent regular season to pilot the device at 15 games, including matchups hosted by the Seattle Seahawks, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the San Francisco 49ers. Hey, Charlie. For the upcoming Super Bowl on Sunday, February 8th, about 10 blind and low-vision fans will get the chance to try out this new device. One of those fans is Scott Thornhill, the executive director of the American Council of the Blind. It will allow me to engage and enjoy the game as close as possible as people who can see, he told the Associated Press. As someone who grew up playing sports before I lost my vision, I'm getting a big part of my life back that I've been missing. To attend a game and not have to wait for someone to tell me what happened, it's hard to even describe how much that means to me. OneCourt's devices are already available for fans who need them at 8 NBA arenas, including the Brooklyn Nets Barclays Center, the Denver Nuggets Ball Arena, and the Orlando Magic's Kia Center. The company has also opened a wait list for people interested in buying a device to use at home. That is really cool. To everybody involved at OneCourt, providing a tactile device that allows blind and vision-impaired people to better experience sports games. Cheers. Chat's talking about how Danna has failed. It turns out tomorrow, February 2nd, is Groundhog Day. Obviously, we're all going to be watching Puxatawny Phil, and I hope that the little bastard sees his shadow and we get 6 more, I almost said months, but weeks, I guess, of winter. Producer Donna is saying she should have gotten me a groundhog onesie for the occasion. Nah. All right. Christian says, eternal winter. Yes. All right, so we're going to get out of science and technology. We're going to move on to category 2, health and medicine. We've got one article in this section. We called it one of the few good uses of machine learning For those of you who enjoy my suffering when we discuss AI, prepare for a lot of that. I'll copy and paste this article in the chat if you want to check it out. I just got to keep telling myself that the technology is being used for a good purpose in this article, and maybe I won't grip my teeth that much. Intelligent neck device detects words and emotions, giving stroke survivors a literal new voice. This was published... Oop, what is going on? There we go. This was published to good.is on January 27th of 2026 by Eric Barnes. Charlie says, engineering gets finger snaps, AI gets growls and a forehead vent throb. I'm just going to have a vein popping out soon. The effects of a stroke can vary widely from person to person, causing lifelong challenges with vision, mobility, and other functions depending on the severity and location of the stroke in the brain. For those who lose the ability to speak clearly, however, there is a new hope in the form of an AI-assisted neck device. Researchers from Beihang University in China and the University of Cambridge in the UK have developed a neck-worn device designed to help stroke survivors with dysarthria. Dysarthria is a speech disorder caused by weakened strength and control of the muscles used for speaking, often resulting in speech that sounds slow, slurred, or quiet. This can be deeply frustrating for stroke survivors who know exactly what they want to say and how they want to say it, but find their bodies unable to cooperate. So far, tests of the device have been promising, allowing 5 stroke patients to speak more clearly and with the tones, words, and inflections that they intended. The Intelligent Throat, or IT, wearable device, dubbed ReVoice, was tested using a 47-word vocabulary of common phrases. Results showed that the IT system correctly decoded 95.8% of individual words and 97.1% of complete sentences users attempted to vocalize. The device was also able to interpret emotional context, allowing speech to sound more natural and less robotic. Participants reported a 55% higher 55% higher satisfaction rate compared to word-by-word speech output systems. The ReVoice device works by sensing vibrations in the throat muscles along with pulses from the carotid artery. Sensors on the elastic band capture the tiny movements users make as they mouth words without producing sound. That data is then transmitted wirelessly to an AI system, which interprets not only the intended speech, but also its emotional intent. The AI can be trained to translate speech word for word, or customized to extend short phrases into full sentences based on factors such as the user's word choice, pulse patterns, and even the time of day. For example, a user might mouth, "Go hospital now," which the system could transform into a fuller statement like, "I still don't feel well or comfortable. Can we go to the hospital now?" This allows users to communicate more clearly with less strain on their vocal muscles, using a device that's comfortable enough to wear all day and powered by a long-lasting battery. The device improves on earlier technologies that forced users to pause between words, resulting in speech that was clear but slow and robotic. By contrast, the IT device enables more fluid conversation, allowing users to be heard not only through their words, but also through emotional nuance, making communication more enjoyable overall. Researchers hope to extend this technology by increasing the device's vocabulary and testing it with a more diverse group of dysarthria patients. We are actively expanding our study cohort to include a broader range of dysarthria patients with varying neuromuscular conditions, ensuring that the system is robust across different symptom severities, the researchers wrote in their study. We also plan to recruit participants from diverse linguistic and ethnic backgrounds to capture a wider range of speech patterns and cultural communication norms, enabling multilingual evaluation of the decoding and synthesis pipelines. Over time and with investment, this technology could provide a clearer, faster, and more conversational voice for the voiceless. That is really cool. To everybody at the Beihang University in China and the University of Cambridge in the UK working on this neck-worn device, what was it called again? The Revoice. Cheers. Producer Danna says tomorrow's going to be sunny, so I should get my wish. Puxatani Phil's going to see his shadow jump into his hole, and I'm going to get my 6 more weeks of winter. So, we'll see. All right, that's going to get us out of Category 2. We're going to move on to Category 3, Flora and Fauna, a.k.a. plants and animals. We've got one article again here in this one, and I called this one... And a million trees. I'll copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check it out. And it'll become very apparent why I did that in a moment. Dave Matthews Band pledges to plant 1 million trees on newly announced summer tour. This was published to goodgoodgood.co on January 27th of 2026 by Cameron Baker. Tuesday morning, Dave Matthews Band announced its latest headline tour across the United States. While fans in Texas, Michigan, Colorado, Washington, and more eagerly await the band's performances this summer, the musicians will build on their ongoing advocacy efforts. Most recently, the band announced a donation to the ACLU of Minnesota following the fatal shootings of Nicole Good and Alex Preddy. This donation has been made through the BAMA Works charity arm of the Dave Matthews Band. We are horrified by the images coming out of Minneapolis. It's hard to watch and hard to believe this is America, the band wrote in a statement on Monday. There is so much shameful dishonesty coming out of Washington right now, but this much is true. If ICE wasn't in Minneapolis, Renee Nicole Good and Alex Preddy would still be alive today. None of this makes sense, and it's incredibly cruel. We must find a better way. To show our support, BAMA Works has made donations to the ACLU and the ACLU of Minnesota. In addition to this latest charitable effort, the Dave Matthews Band has worked to reduce its environmental footprint since it began touring in 1991, and in 2019 it was named a United Nations Environment Goodwill Ambassador. For the past 2 years, the band has elevated its On the Road to Zero Waste tour, which achieved a milestone of over 90% of fan-generated waste reused, composted, recycled, or donated. This effort will continue for its 3rd year with the 2026 tour. The band will also continue its longtime partnership with environmental nonprofit Reverb to make the music industry as a whole more sustainable. And in 2020, Dave Matthews Band also kicked off a partnership with the Nature Conservancy to support its global reforestation efforts. 7 years in, the band has supported the planting of 6 million trees and pledged another 1 million with their latest tour. DMB is committing to plant 1 million more this year, bringing the total to 7 million trees in 2026. A press release from Live Nation shared. These trees help rebuild critical forests that clean our air and water, provide habitat for wildlife, and support a more stable climate for future generations. The Nature Conservancy echoed these efforts. Thanks to DMB, its partners and fans, we're planting more trees in more places. Together, we are helping protect and restore forests around the world, the nonprofit shared on its website. Since the foundation of the partnership between the band and the organization, the Nature Conservancy has expanded its planting program to 8 countries and has restored habitats for thousands of species, including the endangered Yunnan golden monkey. Additionally, with the support of the band, over 1.5 million trees have been planted in the U.S. alone, strengthening forests in the Southeast Corridor, the Central Appalachia region, and the Upper Great Lakes. Nothing matters as much as the survival of the planet, Matthews himself said in a video for the Nature Conservancy. Planting 1 million trees is just a small step toward a cooler planet, toward cleaner air, toward more wild places where plants and animals can thrive. Fans of the band can support these efforts by contributing $2 to plant a tree with every ticket sold on the 2026 tour, when purchased through Ticketmaster or Warehouse, or they can donate to plant more trees online. For those interested in seeing Dave Matthews Band on tour this summer, you can learn more and sign up for pre-sales by visiting the band's website, link in the article. Dates for the 2026 Dave Matthews Band tour are also present. I think they're swinging into Grand Rapids, Michigan in July. Cool. Very neat. To everybody involved with the Nature Conservancy and the Dave Matthews Band, which is pledged to plant 1 million trees this year across the world. Cheers. Plant 1 million trees. I'll tell you what, we are steaming right along. We are tearing down this racetrack with these articles. Really good ones, though, because now we've come to Category 4, the Wholesome Notes. We've got 3 amazing articles here in the Wholesome Notes, all of which I believe are from goodgoodgood.co. And this first one was sent in by Charlie. We called this one, This Kitten is Smitten with Helping Others. And this is actually kind of a companion article to one that we read last week. So thank you, Charlie, for sending this one in. I will copy and paste it into the chat if y'all want to check it out. Amid ICE crackdown, this Minneapolis sex shop has transformed into a donation center for neighbors in need. This was published to goodgoodgood.co on January 15th of 2026 by Cameron Baker. I'm pretty sure the sluts are gonna save us, Instagram influencer Jess Olivia Fox said in a recent video. She is referring to the folks at Minneapolis sex shop, the Smitten Kitten, who have mobilized to support neighbors amid a violent and unrelenting crackdown by the Trump administration's Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. Over the last week, thousands of ICE agents were deployed to Minnesota. In this time, a United States citizen was shot and killed by a federal agent. At least 2,400 people have been arrested by immigration officials. Students have walked out of school in protest and in fear. And just last night, another person was shot in the leg after allegedly assaulting an ICE officer. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has called for peaceful protest and asked for the federal government to end its occupation, while President Trump threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act on Minnesota protesters. In the throes of political debate and at the mercy of an occupying force across the Twin Cities and the surrounding metro area, community members are organizing rapidly. Smitten Kitten, located in uptown Minneapolis, is one group leading the charge. Normally, we're selling adult toys, providing sex education, and running a business. Michaela, a representative of the shop, told Substack creator and social media journalist Jolly Good Ginger. But now, inside the shop, volunteers are organizing canned foods, diapers, clothes, and other essentials to be distributed to vulnerable community members. Charlie says, I want to comment something, but I don't want to get flagged. Probably a good idea not to get flagged. We are raising funds and supplies for families that are stuck at home because they're scared of the ICE presence in the city, or their kids are out of school because the schools are closed down, Michaela explained. We're just trying to make sure that everybody's fed. Every baby has a diaper on them that's clean, and has baby formula. That's all we're trying to do. Every day, the shop's Instagram page has been leveraging its platform to boost donation opportunities for community members in the area, sharing GoFundMe, Venmo, and Cash App campaigns. We've been filling them up, a couple grand at a time, Michaela said. We've been trying to help people get their rent paid for not being able to work, get food in their refrigerator. Workers at the shop take to Instagram every day with a new ask. Hey guys, it's Ann, one person started a video. I'm reporting live from Diaper Mountain. Usually we're an adult store, but today we're going to be pushing Venmos of families that need resources immediately. It's unclear how much has been raised in recent days, but even before the ICE crackdown escalated this January, Smitten Kitten was fundraising for immigrant community members. In December, community members helped raise over $18,000 for Isurun, a nonprofit that supports Somali women in Minnesota. Do you hate ice? Do you love personal massagers? This Sunday, 100% of our profits at Smitten Kitten are going to securing immigration attorneys for 500 plus local Somali and East African families at risk for deportation, Anne said in a video in December. In just one day, the community had raised $15,000. We broke a Smitten Kitten record, Anne said. We broke the record of how much we've raised in one day. That generosity has only amplified in the weeks since. Nico says, what a name, the Smitten Kitten. The shop is also partnering with neighboring businesses like Rectangle Pizza, which is the business we talked about in an article last week, to make sure the people are being fed. And volunteers are standing outside of the shop to protect anyone coming in or out from ICE agents in the immediate area. We have people reaching out to us who need help, and we have people reaching out who want to provide help. JP, another representative of the shop, shared on social media this week. And for Fox, who isn't even local to Minnesota, but is amplifying Smitten Kitten's efforts, this grassroots community work reaches so much farther than Lyndale and Lake Streets. Right now, community and coming together and helping each other is probably the most important things we can focus on, Fox continued in her video. And fight fascism, you know? We built these platforms for a reason, she concluded in her caption. Now is the time to use them. To the Smitten Kitten, a shop in Minneapolis, as well as everybody else out there, coming together as community to help out everyone. And to Charlie for sending in this article. Cheers. Charlie says, honestly, I thought that'd be a cute name for a cat cafe, but that works too. All right, this next one is, we called this next one Bringing Peace One Step at a Time. I'll copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check it out. Buddhist monks surpass halfway mark of peace walk despite snow and freezing temps. This was published to goodgoodgood.co on January 27th of 2026 by Cameron Baker. In late October, a group of 19 Buddhist monks set off for a 2,300-mile trek across the United States, calling for peace. They began in Fort Worth, Texas, with a final destination of Washington, D.C. About 10 days ago, they surpassed their halfway goal in North Carolina. But soon after, they were hit with freezing temperatures and snow as a winter storm rolled through the southeast U.S. Still, their mission to spread a message of peace, unity, and healing went undeterred. The journey, or peace walk as the monks call it, will end with a gathering at the United States Capitol, where they'll share remarks about healing and unity with the public. The winter weather in North Carolina is just one obstacle to overcome on their mission. Our walk takes us through sun and rain, dry roads and wet, through snow and heat, through noise and silence, through crowds and solitude. Some days are gentle, some days test us, some days surprise us with unexpected beauty or unexpected difficulty, the group shared on social media, comparing it to other facets of life. There will be times when everything flows smoothly, when the path ahead is clear and walking feels effortless. And there will be times when the road is rough, when obstacles appear, when we're cold or tired or uncertain about the next step. We cannot demand that life only bring us comfortable conditions. With this in mind, they added, knowing that life will be uncertain is a path to peace itself. This is the peace that lives beneath all circumstances, steady, quiet, unshakable. It doesn't depend on perfect weather or smoother roads. It doesn't require everything to go our way. It simply asks that we show up, breathe consciously, and meet whatever comes with full awareness instead of just reaction. During the trek, the monks and their canine companion, Aloka, will walk through at least 10 states, making stops at government buildings and communing with locals, sharing reflections on compassion and unity amid social and political division. Videos online have already shown supporters greeting the monks with flowers, food, and reverent bows. Many posts show local gatherings where people feed the travelers, provide medical care. Many of the monks are walking barefoot and share water and other essentials with the group. Producer Danna says, they have also adopted a stray dog that started following them a few days into their journey. Awesome. Amid harsh winter weather, the monks held off on visiting hours on their daily lunch breaks, though they still encouraged members of the public to track their journey online. Additionally, though the monks walk with minimal possessions, photos and videos show them in hats, scarves, and boots, not currently barefoot, which is good. Their peace dog, Aloka, who has been recovering from surgery, also had limited exposure to the elements, and the group of monks stayed in churches and found indoor accommodations during the storm. All things considered, their spirits were just as high as they would be on a sunny day. The monks still made a scheduled stop in Raleigh, North Carolina, where Governor Josh Stein declared January 24 Walk for Peace Day. We live in a time of partisan rancor and political discord, Governor Stein said on the steps of the state's Capitol building. In our heart of hearts, we don't want to feel on guard against our neighbors. We want to come together. Thank you for reminding us of that. The monks wrote their own account of their day on their blog. Today, in these harsh conditions, surrounded by white snow and biting cold, we saw something even more clearly. The warm faces of people who care. Their kindness stood out against the frozen landscape like light in the darkness, reminding us why we walk, why it matters, why we keep going, they wrote. This journey began with hope, but you have given us something greater. The lived experience of human kindness, the proof that when people come together with shared intention, extraordinary things become possible. To the 19 Buddhist monks and their dog Aloka, trekking 2,300 miles across the United States on a walk of peace, and to everybody that has helped them along their way. Cheers. Fair warning, this last article is an I'm not crying, you're crying article. If you don't have tissues, you might want to grab them. Usually the criteria that assigns an I'm not crying, you're crying article is either I or producer Danna started crying when we were going through this article. Producer Danna stated that she did come to tears with this one, so you have all been warned. It also could have been a cancer, fuck cancer article. And that, saying that hits me a little bit harder than I thought it would. I'd like to thank everybody who reached out to me this last week. This isn't a shout out, this is just something very personal that I wanted to talk about real quick before I get into this article. To everybody that reached out to me or gave me very kind words, I thank you very much. I had a cousin, my cousin Kurt, who passed away last week after a very valiant fight with cancer. I miss him, and I don't believe he should have been taken from us at the age he was. I don't think I'll ever meet anybody who likes cancer, and I really hate cancer. So, thank you all again very much for reaching out. Condolences were appreciated, and very much to my family back east, my Aunt Cheryl, and Kurt's siblings, Keith and Kim, and our whole family over there. I'm sorry for your loss. I love you all, and fuck cancer. So, I will copy and paste this article into the chat if you all want to check it out. Thank you all very much in the chat. I appreciate every one of you. Every smash burger at this North Carolina restaurant goes toward fighting childhood cancer. This was published at goodgoodgood.co on January 28th of 2026 by Megan Cook. Hey, Dirty Rogue. Thank you. In North Carolina, a new burger spot just popped up in the heart of downtown Wilmington. On its sign out front, a T-Rex holds a smash burger in its clawed hand, roaring over the name Zeke Smash. In addition to burgers, Zeke Smash serves up sandwiches, melty fried cheese curds, hot dogs, cheesecakes, and more. And 5% of all profits go to various children's cancer charities, including St. Baldrick's Foundation. The titular Zeke is the inspiration behind the new restaurant and its charitable cause. Zeke is an energetic, fun 6-year-old. He's the only child of my best friends, Kyle Nelson, the owner of Zeke Smash, and its attached bar, Tide Tap Room, told Good Good Good. We became fast friends and did everything together, he continued. Eventually, Zeke comes along and everyone's happy. I'm happy for them. They're happy. And then he's born, and about 12 hours after he was born, he was taken to the NICU for a platelet transfusion. And then, Nelson said, the whole world went to shit. At just 3 months old, Zeke was diagnosed with juvenile myelomonocytic leukemia, or JMML, a rare, aggressive blood cancer in which bone marrow produces too many abnormal white blood cells, monocytes and myelocytes. His diagnosis came the same year that the COVID-19 pandemic hit. I watched them go through it all at once, Nelson said. They went through COVID, and they had a newborn who was sick. They were navigating chemotherapy, navigating ER trips. And soon, even with access to really good health insurance, the Ramsey family began racking up countless medical bills. I just personally found that reprehensible, Nelson said. On top of growing medical debt, Nelson said the Ramsey family entered a state of constant vigilance. It's treatment, it's off treatment. It's okay they're sick. Are they sick from the disease, or is it just a cold? Is this fever going to potentially kill them? Nelson posed. And all the while, they're trying to give him the best life possible. He also explained that fundraisers for fighting childhood cancer primarily focus on treatment and finding caretakers, but rarely focus on familial support and debt relief. You never heard about the potentially lifelong crippling medical debt that these families are going into to give their child a chance to survive, or making the choice to undergo treatment to give them some more time, Nelson said. That's when, in 2023, Nelson and his brother began tossing around the idea of a smash burger restaurant. We felt like there was a void in the market for a quality smash burger that comes out fast, Nelson said, creating a place where people can pull off on the side of the road and just get something real quick and go. We were bandishing names and concepts and ideas, and it just kind of hit me. Zeke Smash, he said. And I thought, we can build out a charitable aspect to the business, building the restaurant around this idea of giving back to the community and highlighting a community that honestly doesn't get enough support. I just felt like I can do this, Nelson said. I can make great food that people will enjoy, and I can use this platform to bring awareness and highlight an issue that isn't really talked about a whole lot, and possibly do some good too. When it comes to the Wilmington restaurant scene, Zeke Smash is still in its infancy, having just opened in the Cargo District in late October of 2025. As they grow, Nelson has big plans, including a huge St. Baldrick's Foundation fundraiser tentatively scheduled for late spring, where locals can shave their heads and raise money for children's cancer treatments. He also wants to create a Family of the Month program where they spotlight local families and promote their GoFundMes on social media. Beyond stopping by in person for a smash burger, Nelson said people can support their mission by visiting St. Baldrick's website and giving a donation, or nominating someone to be a person of honor, or by starting a local fundraiser of their own. And yes, Zeke himself has had a Zeke smash burger. His review? It's a thumbs up. Nelson laughed. He really enjoys the food. He's a fan. And I don't think it's just because I'm Uncle Kyle. If you're in North Carolina, Zeke Smash is located at 619 South 17th Street, Wilmington, North Carolina, 28401. To everybody involved at Zeke Smash, Kyle Nelson and his brother, who started it, and Zeke, the child that it's named after, who fought cancer right out the gate, and is still going with us 6 years later. Cheers. Yeah, producer Danna was right. That's a I'm not crying, you're crying article, for sure. Whew. Producer Danna just said, I warned you. Note that I don't proofread a lot of articles. I keep saying I'm going to, but I find sometimes that proofreading the articles loses some of the suspense and some of the surprise of them. So I've gone back to not proofreading much from them. I'll kind of like scope them out for hard words so that I don't flub them as hard anymore, but otherwise I like being surprised on these. So I want to thank you again for tuning in or catching the replay on the Knicks News YouTube page. We're live every Sunday, but our next episode is actually going to be on Monday, the 9th of February. That's because on February 8th, it's the Super Bowl. And we don't want to pull viewers from the Super Bowl. You know, we don't want to make the grown men cry. So we will have the Knicks News live stream up on the 9th, that following Monday at 9 p.m. We encourage participation, so if you feel inclined, by all means, post suggestions for news brews, shoutouts, news quotes, and of course, good news articles that we can present on future episodes. If possible, if you send us a bunch of articles, spread them out across our 4 categories, which again are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice ones we like to end on, like Zeke Smash. You can message us on Facebook or on Instagram, or email us at somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Links are in the description of the video. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment on our content across all platforms, Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, and of course YouTube here, so we can get good news and joy out into the algorithm. Please, no SEO advertisement, improvement advertisements, none of that. We're not interested. We continue to grow thanks to all of you. Knicks News numbers continue to grow, and I can't thank you all enough. It really is amazing that, we've started off 2026 right, and we are continuing to grow. So, really happy for that. As always, thank you again. I love you all. Have a great night, and I will play us out.